All right, this is the third and final figure it out problem for chapter 8 on perfect competition. We have a perfectly competitive industry with 150 firms. 100 of those firms have high costs with a short run supply curve of QHC, that HC just stands for high cost, equals 4P, and 50 of the firms have low costs with the short run supply curve of QLC equals 6P. Again, LC just means it's referring to the low cost firms. So the first part is asking for you to derive the short run industry supply curve. We have, in order to find the supply curve for the total industry, you have to add together the production for the high cost firm and the low cost firm. What does this mean in reality? It means we're just multiplying the number of firms that are high cost by the quantity that the high cost firms are producing and adding that to the number of firms that are low cost times the quantity that are low cost. We have the number of firms in each group, and we have their production function. So QS is just going to equal 100. That's how many high cost firms we have, times 4P, plus 50. That's the number of low cost firms that we have, times 6P, those firms supply. Add it together, QS equals 700P. Okay, pretty simple. First part done. That's A. The next part, part B, is asking you, it gives you market demand, which is QD equals 6,000 minus 300P. It's asking you to find the equilibrium P and Q. Whenever you think about the equilibrium price and quantity, just immediately think you're looking for where quantity supplied equals quantity demanded, right? We just found what quantity supplied was. QS equals 700P. So we're going to set QS equal to QD. So I'll have 700P equal to the term that the question gives us, that QD, 6,000 minus 300P. Do some algebra. We have 1,000P equals 6,000. So our equilibrium price is 6. Now, in order to find the quantity, you can do one of two things. We can either plug that P equals 6 into our QS or our QD. It doesn't matter which one, you should get the answer to be the same for both. Let's plug it into QS at first. So QS equals 700Q, which equals 700 times 6. So QS should equal 4,200. Just to double check, I'll also do QD, which equals 6,000 minus 300 times 6, So QD also equals 4,200. Plugging that P into both is a good way to make sure that you got the right answer. Oh, I made a mistake. This Q should be the P, obviously. Sorry about the video lag. My computer is, my poor MacBook is going into overdrive here. It seems like it's a little bit better than when I have my face on the screen, which is fine by me. Okay, looks like we're caught up here. So part C then is asking, at this price, the price that we just found, P equals 6, how many pickles are being produced by the high cost and low cost firms, respectively? I guess we're operating in the pickle market here. So we said at the top that QHC equals 4P. So we solved for P, we said it was 6. All we have to do is plug that 6 in here. So 4 times 6 equals 24. That's our QHC. We're going to do the same thing for the low cost firm. QLC equals 6P. Again, just plug in the P that we found. 6 times 6 equals 36, and that's our QLC. All right, that part's pretty simple. Last part, find the total producer surplus. You can do this one of two ways. The thing to note, regardless, is that the producer surplus is always going to be, no matter if we're talking about perfect competition or monopolistic competition or monopoly or any of the other market structures, producer surplus is always going to be the area above the supply curve and below the equilibrium price. Personally, I think it helps to visualize. So we're just going to draw a really rough graph here with our normal supply and demand lines. On the x-axis is Q, and on the y-axis we'll have P. We're going to draw our supply curve, going to draw a demand curve. They meet at a nice equilibrium point in the middle. That's our Q star. In our case, we found Q to be 4,200, and our P star, which equals 6. So like I just said, the area above the supply curve and below the equilibrium price, that's our producer surplus. Let's do a different color. This area here, that's the producer surplus area. Okay, so now it's just a matter of finding the area of that triangle. This is stuff that you covered in Principles of Micro, or if you took it in high school, your AP micro course, right? It's just finding the area of a triangle, you can think back to high school geometry. So mathematically, producer surplus is going to equal 1/2. Our triangle equation is 1/2 base times height. In this case, we can say that our base is our Q star, and our price is our P star, 1/2 Q star times P star. So we're just going to plug that in, 1/2 4,200 times 6. Break out the calculators again. We should get producer surplus equals 12,600. Okay, and that is our total producer surplus. And with that, figure it out problem number 3 for chapter 8 is done.